Yeah, my name is Anikan.
Yeah, I'm Comrade Peter Patterson.
I'm serving in the Akwa Ibom State Executive Council, Government of Akwa Ibom State, as a Commissioner for Information and Communication.
I represent the good people of Akoko Edo Federal Constituency.
Charts and Ads with Elizabeth Era. Is the Ibaka deep sea port still on schedule to be executed?
I would like to assure Mr. Akpan that the Ibom Deep Sea Port initiative is very much on course. There I can assure him. In fact, there's no problem with that initiative.
Can you tell us your role in the House of Representatives? How does it affect you and I, then everybody in Akoko Edo?
Well, the role of a legislator basically is lawmaking. It requires contribution to bills on the floor of the House. It also includes reviewing existing laws, particularly when they are becoming obsolete and no longer fit for purpose.
We have a responsibility to continue to preach peace, unity and love amongst the people of Akwa Ibom State, and that's encapsulated in the Dakada philosophy, rising to greatness. Of course, they should rise as a people and know that we can move beyond ethnicity, biases, religion and gender.
The era of waiting for manna to fall from heaven is long past. We must be up and doing. We must be hard-working. We must be serious with our education, and we must be self-supporting at some level.
Remember, this is Elizabeth Era, and this is Charts and Ads, and of course it's the early. You're welcome to another wonderful episode of The Elite with Elizabeth Era on Charts and Ads. Today we have a wonderful guest with us, a great guest. Guys, I went through a whole lot getting this man to sit here with me right now. Well, I'm not going to say so much, but let me just give you a hint of who we're going to be speaking with today. He's no other person than the Vice Chairman of AfriVest West Africa, one of the leading stockbroking firm here in Nigeria. And he has worked in so many organizations within and outside the shores of this country. The World Economic Forum actually picked him as one of the global leaders for tomorrow. I don't want to miss that. The leader of tomorrow. And he is presently the chairman of the economic strategic team in Edo State, and an aspirant. That is the one that rings a bell in everybody's ear. They want to hear that. He's an aspirant in the Edo State 2016 gubernatorial race. Today we have somebody that is very cool with us. He's very cool. Let me not say anything more than that. He's going to introduce himself. So, sir,
thank you very much. My name is Godwin Obaseki.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, viewers, today we're going to be hearing a lot from him. Okay, a lot of people have said they don't know him. I don't know, but I know because of this particular his involvement in politics right now. I'm sure he's trending right now everywhere. But we want to meet him. We want to know him. We want to hear a whole lot about him. So we'll start with his personal life. First of all, I want to know who Godwin Obaseki is. So a whole lot of people that don't really know you will know who Godwin Obaseki is.
Thank you very much. Godwin Obaseki is a Benin-born investment banker and investment analyst. I was born in Benin to an Anglican family, went to Anglican primary school, an Anglican secondary school.
Are you serious?
And did my HSC in Benin,
okay.
Went to the University of Ibadan.
Okay.
My first degree was in classics.
Okay.
Had core humanities. And then I went in the investment world, became a stockbroker, in 1985. And then, yes, 1985.
Was I born then? Okay.
Yeah, maybe not. And then then went into banking. I went to, worked at the International Merchant Bank, IMB, but big blue building in Victoria. And then I think it was a trending bank then, okay. No longer now. And then left that with my boss His Royal Majesty King Banigo,
Okay.
to set up a small boutique consulting firm, ABC Funds. Then that was one of the hip financial institutions to work for,
Okay.
because this financial institution was involved in what you call cutting edge transactions.
Oh.
At that time, that was when the banking system was first liberalized. So we had a lot of people coming in to obtain banking licenses. So we worked with them to help set up banks. At that young age, I was project manager to set up about 4 banks.
Okay, it's 4 banks. Okay, I actually thought it's 2.
No, 4 banks. I think it was Crown Merchant Bank, All States Trust Bank. There was 2 others. I can't quite remember their names now.
Okay, and all
Defcon Merchant Bank.
still functioning.
Most of them have gone through mergers or acquisitions.
Yeah, that's why I said it's still functioning, because I know they've merged.
So I did that, and then went to the States, did my master's, and then rushed back during Abacha's era.
Okay.
Because it was very interesting, because when I finished my graduate work in the States, New York, I just realized that a lot of my colleagues, that was when the Berlin Wall collapsed,
Okay.
and a lot of my friends from school, they're all going back to their homes in Eastern Europe, and they went, because those markets were opening up.
Yeah.
So at that point, I thought, okay, maybe it's a time to come back
Something in
home.
Nigeria
And I
too.
came back to Nigeria and set up SEC Trust, set up my brokerage firm as SEC Trust,
Yeah.
which later became Afrinvest.
Yeah.
And, interesting times, very, very interesting times.
The journey so far.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So you gave us a summary of the journey so far, and you've already told us, about who you are, your schools, and all that. That's a beautiful one. Even though it's not a long one, but it's a beautiful one. We have a question for you, because we don't want to waste your time. Viewers is a very busy person, so let's just go straight to the business of the day. There's a question here for you. Said, as a stockbroker and an economic strategist, how can you improve the economic crisis in Edo State?
Well, I think we started that. We started that 7 years ago. The crisis in Edo State, the economic crisis, was much worse 7 years ago.
Right now.
Oh yeah, 7 years ago, it was wild. It was like Wild Wild West. There were no jobs. The whole thing had broken down.
Okay.
People just don't remember. We were just escaping. All the women, girls going out to do all sorts of stuff abroad. The young ones just trying to get out to Europe.
Sure.
There were no jobs. The whole place was depressed. Crime was so rife.
Sure.
You remember Christmas time? You came in then, broad daylight, they'll rob you on Mission Road.
I heard that, even though I wasn't there.
It was very, very bad. Kidnapping, just couldn't deal.
Sure.
And and also the economy, because the infrastructure was broken. I don't know if you ever came into Benin, tried to get into Benin in the rainy season, like the rain that fell yesterday.
Yeah.
You're trying to come into Benin at Uniben, forget it. You just
Yeah,
won't be able to
that's
drive
true.
in. It's all
Water
flooded.
with the flooding.
Yes. So people just can't remember what it used to be.
Sure.
And so over the last 7 years, we have very carefully and systematically begun to do the things you need to do.
Okay.
And you can see the economic life of the city gradually, and the state gradually coming back. It took a while for things to get broken. So it's also going to take a while for things to get back.
Fixed. Yeah, true.
But at least today, you can come in and Benin City, Edo State is regarded as one place to go. There are 4 flights in here every day. 2 or 3 from Lagos, 1 from Abuja.
Yeah, true.
So it's accessible.
And the airport is looking better than it used to be, because then they say that you can't fly the airport in Edo State, because the Edo people prefer to fly with their wings because of how bad the situation was. Yeah.
It wasn't a pretty sight. The roads still you didn't have. People forget that there was no dual carriage road. None of the roads linking Ring Road was dualized.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 8 years after you've done all of that, what it means therefore is that there's a lot more economic activities going on. There are a lot more bank branches in the city today.
True.
And if they were not viable, they're not profitable in business, you didn't have enough business here, banks would expand in open other branches. So
now speaking from financial.
So you see that we have done quite a lot just by building infrastructure, by rebuilding the schools, by draining certain parts of we lost some parts of the city.
Sure.
You remember, like Teacher's House, or you just couldn't even attempt to go there. And by doing those basic things, they're like building blocks for economic growth. So having done that, we're now beginning to see people are looking in here, it's here. Because we have also invested or encouraged investors to come and set up electricity plants here. Azura, major investment, which we helped start. Azura Power is a major front-running project finance in Africa today. Okay. It's a 450 megawatts power plant. It's sited in Benin City.
Yeah, and in Benin City, I think the electricity supply here is actually better than some other states.
It's going to get much better because we're now generating quite a lot. Yeah. And with all of these things we've done, we're now seeing a lot of interest in companies wanting to come and locate production activities in Edo State. Yeah. And as more of these happen, you find out that it will continue to boost the economy of the state.
Sure.
Also, because of the foreign exchange shortage in the country today, thanks to what the previous administration did, we cannot import or pay for the imports we used to consume.
True.
We used to import everything: rice, food, drinks, everything.
So right now,
but that demand is still there, and so right now we've got to try and produce them ourselves, and we're positioned in Edo. In fact, Edo is already positioned to be the Greek food production center in this country.
That would be beautiful.
Because if you think about it, there are only two agric companies, but the two largest agric companies listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange are located in Edo State. Okay. So we already have a culture of agriculture.
So which of them, for the sake of those that are not aware?
Okomo Oil and Presco.
Presco, okay, yeah, I know about Okomo and Presco,
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So they are listed, if you look at the stock exchange, there are not very many agric companies listed. And the two largest ones are in Edo State. Which means that we already have a tradition of, investing in large-scale agricultural plantations. And we're beginning to see a lot of interest. I can't divulge names now.
I understand.
But in the next 1 to 2 years, the amount of interest will more than quadruple what we currently have.
We just hope so.
And these are big companies, people who are looking for new areas to expand. You can see demand increasing. And the truth is that because we have always had the advantage, don't forget, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we had 2 agricultural research institutes in Edo State. Yeah. And so the expertise, we have quite a bit of expertise in agriculture. In a nutshell, in terms of our strategy for growth, economic growth, we've started, and in fact, it's one of the reasons why I want to run.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons why I want to run. I want to run because I understand what it takes to attract businesses.
Okay.
I understand what it takes for, what the people who invest.
As a professional,
they know the decision-making process.
True.
Why would I decide to invest in a particular location and not another?
True.
So I have the benefit of being on the other side now to say, okay, I want to make my location very attractive for investment so that people can come in and locate and be able to create jobs which we need so badly. I hope I answered.
Yeah, you did. Thank you very much, sir, for that particular answer you gave us on that particular question. We have a question. It's what they said. It said, I'm sorry, people actually sending these questions, but I didn't add their names to this one. So he said, what's your view about internal democracy? Is it important to allow internal democracy in a party system, Would you prefer to be appointed or allowed internal democracy?
I think the logic of democracy presupposes that it should be both internal and external.
External, okay.
You cannot have a democracy on the outside if it's not, if you don't have it on the inside.
Okay.
And from my experience over the last 16 weeks of campaigning, I found that it's so, the way the democratic process has been structured is that if you do not gain popular acceptance and popular support, it will be very difficult for you to govern.
True.
Because you can't impose yourself on even if somebody
Exactly,
imposed you,
you
can't impose yourself on
the
people.
Yeah.
The people must, want you, they want to work with you.
True.
But what has happened is that a lot of people, even in the political system, try to shortchange democracy. They think democracy is about what you say in the press.
Mm-hmm.
I have, in the last 15 weeks, been around every local government in this state.
That's beautiful.
And I'm going around every ward. And most people who are talking about imposition sit in their chairs in the major city. And they're not going around.
Yeah, true.
So there must be internal democracy. You must get the acceptance of people before you decide to. You can't log yourself away.
True, that's true.
So internal democracy is a sine qua non for democracy to function.
Okay. So you have a question. You said, I understand that before now, you have been an active participant, a trustee of Dr. Jackson Obaseki. I think that's should I call him your elder brother?
Uncle.
Your uncle?
Yeah.
Okay, Obaseki Foundation, a family-owned NGO which is involved in providing free educational and health services to the poor and needy. So we want to know if you have your own individual projects, if you've done any individual projects, done any charitable works, if you've done any charitable works for the people of Edo State, particularly your community.
Well, you just talked about it. We have a family trust in which I am very active, making sure that we source medicines to help treat hypertensive and diabetic people.
Okay.
We also have another family trust that, I don't know if you're watching the news recently, focused on helping people with sight, with vision impaired.
Okay, aware of the educational.
Yes, that's one. We also actively participate in providing glasses, treatment of glaucoma to blind people. I just believe that people must, have the science, and I bring my expertise into most charitable concerns I get involved in. I am not one of those who believe that everybody must set up a trust or a foundation.
Sure.
But when you call, but I actively participate in trusts and foundations when they are set up, because I have, what I bring to the trusts and foundations, the ability to raise money for them, to make them sustainable, to be able to do the things they set out to do. I mean, I don't know if you know about the We Care Trust.
Yeah, I do.
Which is supposed to care for orphanages.
Yeah.
I chaired the fundraising,
wow.
And we've been able to raise about 35 million, and I have another commitment for about 100 million to support homes, particularly orphanages in Edo State.
In Edo State,
and well, outside of Edo State, I'm a trustee of the Junior Achievement of Nigeria.
Okay,
which is an educational, which is a worldwide foundation which focuses on helping imbue kids in schools with values of business education, trying to make them understand the ethics, and the fundamentals for managing business.
Thank you very much, sir. That's a beautiful one. Yes, you've heard that. If you're the one that actually sent in the question, you're wondering if Mr. Obaseki, because he said he's not a honorable, if Mr. Godwin Obaseki has ever been involved in any charitable acts and all that within the state. He's done more than enough. He's done a whole lot. Edo State is, to me, it's a big place. You might not really know, especially those of you in diaspora. It's until you come home, until you come home before you'll be able to know and see what is actually happening around. But you have this question, you said, what are your objectives as a gubernatorial aspirant in the Edo 2016 elections?
Good question. Why am I in the race? What are my objectives?
Exactly.
What do I seek to do?
Yeah.
Because I've been part of the what I call the policy infrastructure. Don't forget, I was one of those who sat with the comrade when he was going to run.
True.
And helped design the framework for this administration.
True.
And I have stayed there in the background for the last 7.5 years, helping to direct things, focusing on the areas that are important, helping to raise funding, ensuring that our strategies are right, bringing in our development partners to work with us.
Okay.
So we've laid a foundation for the economic growth of Edo State. And so my mission is not to allow that process to be truncated.
Okay.
My mission is to step in and ensure that we we take what we've done to the next level. We've built roads, we've built schools, we've refurbished our hospitals, we've reaccredited our schools. So what next? You want all of these to lead to further economic development and growth for Edo State. And this is when my expertise is even more required. We were able to go to financial institutions, we were able to go to the taxpayers of Edo State to reorganize the system to get us to have a sustainable economy, such that we're one of the few states that can actually pay our salaries to our staff today. So we've built all of that. What we now need to do is now to attract more economic growth.
Okay.
Attract more businesses into the state so that you can begin to deal with the issues of employment.
True.
Because the biggest challenge we have is our population has grown. We must be in excess of 5 million people in Edo State today.
Okay.
And about 60% of them are under the age of 30.
True, very true.
And I don't think, I will be surprised if 30% of that population has work.
Oh, okay, if they have work.
If they have work.
Okay.
Because the jobs just don't exist. We've always relied on government to provide jobs to resources. But how many jobs can government provide?
True.
So we see a window, we see an opportunity for more of the things we used to import to be made in Nigeria. And those things have to be made in certain locations. So we're trying to make Edo very attractive so that people can come in here and then make those things. Because
true.
we have a few things most people don't have. We have very highly skilled people.
True, that's true.
This
That's
state,
true about Edo
this
State,
state boasts of almost 7 universities
True, yeah.
and several higher technical. So we have the quality manpower. Now we've invested in electricity. We have electricity. We have the advantage of our location because from Edo State, we are 3 hours, maximum 6 hours away from any major markets. We're not stuck in some corner of Nigeria. We are bang in the heart of Nigeria.
True, that's
so
true.
if you produce whatever you're producing here, you manufacture it here, you'll be able to send whatever you're manufacturing out easily to any of those markets. So because of those factor endowments, I feel that, and because of the amount of infrastructure we've started building, the next phase is to now begin to attract investments. And who is a better candidate of everybody contesting today? Who has the credentials the most to attract investments into the state?
That's beautiful. Well, you've heard that about him. You've heard his objectives. He actually wants to continue from where this present administration is going to stop, so that at least I don't say we get to a certain level. We've been through a whole lot in the state, and we're actually praying that consistency stays. We want to be consistent when it comes to development in Edo State, so that at least we can actually hit our hands in our chest like every other state within the South. So we have this question for you. You said Edo is basically a civil servant environment. There is a need to industrialize the state and create wealth. What are your plans to achieve this?
Well, specifically, I want to look at 3 areas.
Okay.
First, I want to look at agriculture.
Okay.
People forget, for instance, that we have like almost 200 million people in Nigeria.
True.
If 10% of us eat chicken every day, how many chickens will that be?
A whole lot.
20 million.
Yeah.
I don't think we produce that much.
Sure.
What does it take to produce chicken? Is it not grains, corn, You know, millets,
Their feet, yeah.
their feeds, and some vaccines.
True.
So can't I make Edo State a hub by just providing what is required?
Okay.
And making land available, making sure that quality grains are grown, making sure that people come and invest in the feed milling business, making sure that they invest in poultry because they have access, they can put these products into the market. So agriculture is key. Already we're doing palm, right?
Yeah, we're doing palm, yeah.
We're doing rubber. So
Yeah.
more hectares under cultivation so that more people can come and cultivate this long crops.
True.
Cassava is so important.
Very important.
Because you have it's a base for a lot of industrial products, for industrial starch, for biofuels. We'll put
And rice too.
We'll put a lot of acreage for things like cassava, for rice, for fruits,
True.
which we already.
Because
so
most
it's-
of our fruits in the market right now, they are actually on the high side. The prices.
because more people are not cultivating enough.
True.
So once we are able, we're not going to do it ourselves because government has not had a good track record of doing business itself. So what we're doing is to re-engineer government to act as an enabler, to enable people coming to set up these businesses very quickly.
Okay.
To make it attractive for them to come and set up these businesses. And there are ways we have clear-cut strategies on how to do it. The next frontier, or the next area, is going to be in solid minerals, particularly in Edo North.
Yeah.
I've
heard about solid minerals in Edo
Lots of
North.
opportunities of solid minerals. We're going to actively support and engage with both the federal authorities. In fact, that has started already. They're looking at the whole cadastral, that is a map of what minerals and what licenses exist in Edo State, and trying to revoke them so that those people who are just been sitting on licenses are forced to come and work those licenses. With the presence of electricity, there's no reason why we can't. Right now, you see, two Chinese companies have already relocated. They're doing ceramics, tiles, and more are coming. There's no reason why we cannot do. Limestone exists, kaolin, coal, columbine. So we have so many, and even gold in some areas. So we're going to another strategy will be to attract investors to come and mine. A third strategy will be just industrial production. Like I said, we have Edo State by 2017 will generate 1,000 megawatts of electricity.
That would be beautiful.
And with that electricity, we believe and hope that a lot of companies will come in and make their products, manufacturing products here because they have available electricity 24/7.
That's a beautiful one, sir. That's really wonderful. You're actually talking. I'm just waiting for the elections to be over. That's beautiful because all I want for my state is development. I actually want us to grow from this particular level that we are right now to a better level by the grace of God, and of course by should I say your support. If we have you in there as our governor come the forthcoming election in this 2016.
And we hope you were involved too. Just know governance is not one way.
Yeah, true. We all definitely. I'm already involved. So, okay. We have this question. I'm going to skip this one, but I have this particular one. Said, "What are your plans?" Okay, you've already talked about the agricultural development in Edo State. So the person actually sent in that question. So it's a beautiful one that you have that. Then we have, will you allow the youths of Edo State play key roles in your administration? And how do you intend to handle the problem of unemployment in Edo State?
Well, the whole program, my whole strategy is hinged on the youth.
Okay.
Who are we creating jobs for? Young people. And so they have to be involved. They have to be involved from a meaningful standpoint.
Yeah.
One of the things we will insist on is on ensuring that we give them proper training.
Okay.
Particularly vocational training.
Okay, I'm sorry for me to cut you short on this. You continue, but I want to find out. We have a whole lot of youths these days who, you see that they went to school, they have issues, and they didn't come out with their certificates and all that. Some of them victimization, some of them their own doing, some of them a whole lot of problems, maybe families, no money to pay their bills and all that. are they actually really going to be involved, or are they going to be relegated to the background? Are they going to be involved? Because if you have what it takes, I don't think the certificate should be a setback. I don't know. I want to know that from you.
In fact, once you begin to have production, nobody cares. The degrees you have become immaterial. What will be important is your ability to apply yourself to that opportunity and that work. I don't think someone is going to hire you to come and work in a factory for him based on only your degree.
Okay, true.
Based on your capacity, your enthusiasm, and your willingness to work.
Okay.
So the bulk of the jobs we are going to be creating will be the ones that are technically oriented.
Okay.
That is where people need just a bit of, once you have a basic foundations, then the companies will hire you, they will train you to do the things they want you to do for them.
Yeah.
So they will not just be looking at your certificates.
So true.
Because it's what that certificate will translate to in terms of the value they'll be creating as a result of your employment from. That is what people are going to be focusing on. For instance, say agriculture. We decide to expand, work with some of the large plantations, right?
Yeah.
So you imagine a plantation that has 50,000 hectares of land, right? You need at least 2 people per hectare.
Mm-hmm.
You need the guys who will be driving the tractors, you may have the guys who will be, focusing on with pesticides, you have people who will be, doing different things, right?
Yeah.
And there will be a school of agriculture next door that will just train you on how to, to do those functions. That is, if the companies themselves do not have their training facilities.
Okay.
Abroad, most people are not graduates, right?
Yeah, true.
They just
Because
know.
they have the technical know-how.
They have the technical know-how.
Yeah.
So that is what we will be emphasizing. And the fact that you've been out of school, you don't have a degree, shouldn't matter. It's, are you willing to work? Do you have the enthusiasm to work? Do you have the basic understanding to be able to read and write manuals?
True.
If you do, then the companies will train you and put you to work. And most Edo people are very hardworking.
Yeah, we are hardworking people in Edo State.
I don't think it will be a problem. I hear people talk about a lot of the guys on the street. Sometimes they describe them as stars. They describe them as,
they're hustling. We call them hustlers.
I feel, my view is, listen, they are victims. They are victims of a system we've created. It's not their fault. It's now the fault, that responsibility of government to see how they can rehabilitate them by giving them skills and giving them opportunities. That's the role of government. So for me, it's going to be government for young people. We're going to, one key infrastructure, which most governments don't focus on, which we will insist on, which we will invest in, is going to be
goodwill.
It's going to be broadband.
Broadband.
Okay.
By broadband, you mean?
So that you can have internet connectivity.
Oh, okay.
You don't have internet connectivity as an infrastructure. You need that broadband so that people can have access to the internet.
True.
Because there's a whole lot of new businesses you can create.
True.
Just by having access, by having electronic connection.
Like we're doing right now.
So that is one infrastructure we're going to be investing in, and I mean it's going to be a huge opportunity for lots of young people to start their own business.
I'm so going to pack my bags and come and sleep here.
Oh, you mean you're not in Edo State yet? You should live here.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, we have just this last question. I wasn't going to ask it, but if I don't, people are going to ask me questions online, and we have our integrity, so we have to protect it. I'm sorry, sir. This question, he said, Dr. Samuel Ogbemudia left a legacy of several viable industries and commercial outfits, which over the years have gone to waste. Successive governments have done nothing to revive them in spite of the huge capital and fixed assets which they represent. You know, ask her, like, will this be on your agenda? Are you going to add this to your agenda to see how we're able to revive most of these industries and commercial outfits?
Okay, we must put things in perspective.
True.
40 years ago, it was a different economy we were running.
Exactly.
You didn't have the number of banks you have today. You didn't have the amount of savings. Individuals didn't have the kind of money we have today.
True.
So most of these industries, for us to industrialize, most of the industries were therefore created by government, right? And government nurtured them. Unfortunately, because the role of government is not to run business.
True.
Government is not great at running businesses.
True.
Most of them failed.
True. Very true.
And many of them, and in fact, most all of them have had to be privatized and sold to private hands. Today, it is not the role or responsibility of government to begin to restart businesses. What government must now do or should now do is to support entrepreneurs
True.
to begin to create those industries. Government does not have any shares in Guinness. Government does not have any shares in Nigerian breweries.
Exactly.
So anybody who wants to come and start, as long as you have created the enabling environment, they should be able to come and start. So what we were doing is helping, we're changing the whole paradigm for industrialization. What government will do is to acquire vast areas, amounts of land, connect infrastructure, gas, electricity, power to those areas, encourage people to come and locate production in those areas. Make sure that they have this ease of obtaining titles, CFO, transfer deeds, all are made easy, so that if you decide to, you see an opportunity in a particular area, you want to produce something, then you as an individual, because the money is there in Nigeria, the banks have the money, So there are individuals, there are businesses whose turnover is larger than many states' monthly expenditure. There are individuals and businesses that are wealthier than states in Nigeria today.
True.
So it can't be. The responsibility of the state is to create an environment for everybody to come in and live a happy life and be able to attain and achieve the goals they've set out for themselves. So I think it will be a mistake to begin to set up companies. You can see the last administration, the kind of companies they said they set up, to just, very, very, almost fraudulent. So we will not make that mistake of going to try and set up. What we will do is create an enabling environment, create the incentives, and provide a support for people to come and make money. There's nothing wrong with your citizens making money and becoming very wealthy. So it is government's responsibility to create the environment, the atmosphere for that to happen. So that is what we'll be focusing on, rather than pretending that we want to go and set up factories we cannot run as governments.
That's true. Thank you very much. Well, viewers, we're going to go. This is where we're going to draw the curtain today. But before we do that, there's this question I always like to ask all my guests, because here in Nigeria, we believe that the youths are, we've done a whole lot, these people. I just want to know from him, let him tell us, who are we, the youths? What do you think about the Nigerian youth? The youths, particularly from Edo State, because you are actually coming to be our leader. So we want to know, what do you think about an Edo youth?
The Edo youth, in my view, from what I have seen, is they're the people that will rebuild Nigeria.
Amen.
Because they're so imbued with creativity. It flows in their blood. They're so imbued with hard work, the values of hard work. They never give up. I think the real challenge and frustration is that previous governments, previous administrations have never really given them the opportunity to express themselves to the extent to which they can. But thank God for the internet today. Thank God for social media.
Yeah, everywhere.
They don't need to have those huge amounts of cash. Look at you, just with a camera with less than a million naira of investment.
Yeah,
you have it, you're doing something.
That's true.
That's you. You know how many more can be created. So I have, implicit belief, trust that just empower you to create the opportunities. Don't give them fish. Just teach them how to fish. No, they won't teach. Just make sure that you have the water. They make sure there's a river and there's some seedlings. They will grow the fish themselves. They know what to do better than I you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Well, yes, you heard that. We are wonderful people. Yay. Now, somebody has actually said it again, that we are wonderful people. So you don't have to give up. You have to stay in there. Until next time when we come your way again, it's still me, your Tata 4, Elizabeth Air. We're going to be drawing the curtain here for today's hour. Why don't you say goodbye, sir, again?
Thank you, and goodbye. It's been nice talking with you.
Thank you very
I
much.
enjoyed this hour with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Till next week.